Hi, my name's Adrian Moore and I'm Professor of Philosophy at the University of Oxford. And I'm going to be talking today about one of Kant's most important works, probably the most important work that he wrote in moral philosophy. And it goes under the rather forbidding title, Groundwork of the Metaphysics of Morals, though people normally just refer to it as the groundwork. And we're going to be looking at this book by exploring it in connection with 8 questions that I'm going to raise. And the first question is not a question specifically about the groundwork, it's a question that arises in moral philosophy anyway. And it's the question, what is the difference between consequentialism, deontology, and virtue ethics? And this is an important question because moral philosophers often will tell you that these are the 3 most important traditions in moral philosophy. And the reason why it's important in connection with Kant is that Kant is often taken to be the chief representative of the second of these traditions, deontology. So let's say a little bit about what the difference is between these 3 great traditions. Consequentialism, roughly speaking, is the view that the ends justify the means. When it comes to deciding what you should do in any given situation, what's the morally right thing to do, you need only be interested in the consequences. There are certain consequences that we're trying to bring about, and if you have the means to bring about the best consequences, then you should pursue those means. And that's where this tradition, consequentialism, gets its name from, because of this focus on consequences. Deontology, which is the tradition that's particularly associated with Kant, is the view that the ends don't always justify the means. There are certain things that you just must not do, certain things that you just must do. For example, it may be that you should simply never lie, whatever the consequences, even if you think it's a white lie, even if you think that there's some justification for lying. The deontologist may say, no, this is something that's just intrinsically wrong. And this is the kind of view that we shall see represented in Kant's groundwork. The third tradition, virtue ethics, is in many ways a much older tradition than either of the other 2, goes right back to the ancient Greeks, and is a tradition according to which what's important is not so much what you do, whether that's something that's justified in terms of its consequences or not, but what kind of person you are, what characteristics you have. And virtue ethics gets its name from the idea that we should be trying to cultivate certain virtues, and the good person is the person that has those virtues. Now, both consequentialism and deontology stand apart from that tradition of virtue ethics by putting this emphasis on the things that people actually do, the actions that they undertake. And that's the broad tradition within which we find Kant, and in particular, as I've already emphasized, he will emerge as the arch representative of deontology.